All right, it's a little early, but I want to make sure we got plenty of time. So I'm on chapter 14. Remember, this is the last chapter for which you have to do things. 15, 16, 17, and 18. I should be able to lecture on all those on Monday. That'll be it from this book. Now, it's going to be a little confusing, but next week, remember, you'll take a test just on chapter 9, the Flexbox stuff. Well, really, it's the stuff on 1 through 9. And then the following week, you'll take your last test, but that'll be Bootstrap using the stuff in chapters 11, 12, 13, and 14, plus the stuff in the rest of the book. We will create a whole website or something with Bootstrap first. All right, and some of you at least are probably going to say, this is all you got to do, and it is. All right, so this chapter talks about audio video. I'm not going to show you everything that's in there, but that said, if you look on the screen, please, I'm going to go over to here, and I'm going to take my index that we just did. I'm going to do a file, save as, and I'm just going to call it audio video.html. So there it is. And I will come up in here and change this to audio video. And in the body, I'm going to keep the main. I'm going to get rid of that class equal contact, but I'm going to keep the main. So you can see how much I cut off of here. All right, basically I've got something empty, but it'll allow me to at least try to put in a few of the examples that are shown in the text. Does that make sense? All right. And I'm doing it off the top of my head. Hopefully I don't screw it up, but we'll see. So, an introduction to media on the web, how to add audio video, and then there's an example. All right. Now, one thing about audio video, for whatever reason, again, I know you're going to find this really, really hard to believe, but Microsoft doesn't like to play like everybody else. I know that's hard to believe. But there are no standards, and it's not just Microsoft, because some of the browser manufacturers have decided that they don't want to go with what should be the standard, which is OGG format. So you'll notice for both audio and video, there's an OGG format. That's open source, and the idea was that was going to be used by everybody, except there were some browser manufacturers who said, we've already got our own, we don't want to use that. It's not that they won't use it, but their preferred method is their own, if that makes any sense. The reason I'm telling you that is at least at times when you create this stuff, you might have to account for different types of audio or video format. You'll see that on the examples that are here, okay? Now, the easiest one is MPEG or MP4 that they show on top. In fact, when I create these documents, it always saves them as an MP4 file. When I go through the process of producing them, one of the files that gets created is an MP4 file. Those are the ones that I put out on my channel. All right, if I was doing a podcast, I'd probably do it where it would be an MP3. All right, and you can see the other ones. I'm not going to sit and read them to you. You can take a look at them yourselves, okay? All right, so as it says, a media type is a container for several components. To play a media type, the browser requires a media player for that type. Today, all modern browsers include the plugin, so you can typically, if you don't have it, you can add it. All right. It says to say that a browser natively supports a media type means that the browser doesn't require a plugin, so it's built in, for lack of better words. And these things are called codecs, and which is for coding and decoding. All right. And I'm not going to, it says what a media player does when it plays a video. Determines the media type. Determines whether or not it has the capability to decode that. Decodes it and plays it with the video and with the audio and interprets any metadata. All right. And these are the popular ones. I have not seen this one before, the VP8/VP9. Back in the days when I had to add more of this stuff than you do today, I'd work with H.264 and with Theora. All right. And just like there are video codecs, there are audio codecs as well. Now, again, maybe I'm wrong. I will make sure that when you guys take your pre-test for this material, that I include everything like I have been doing from the test. But I don't think there's much of anything with audio video, you know. But there were a couple things I wanted to show you on there just so you see them. All right. So as it says, notice in here, I don't even, the audio supported in current browsers, the video supported in current browsers. Again, there's not uniformity. And these are MIME types, multimedia internet media extension or something like that. All right. How to encode media? Well, there's different ways of doing this. All right. Literally, if you want to, you can take a hyperlink. So I'll just show you this. It's easier to show you. So I'm just going to go out here to YouTube, and I'm going to grab, because I heard this guy's just got terrific videos. All right. So I'm just going to go out there, and I'm going to grab one of those. All right. In fact, this is one of the ones
we're going to start right away.
I did yesterday.
The first thing that I would like you
so
to
I'm going
do,
to grab
please.
this. Oops. I don't need that anymore. And I'm going to come in here and say, play a Jeff Scott video. Okay. You move that onto 2 lines so you can see all of it. So that's it. All I did was I created a hyperlink. All right. I'm going to save this. Let's bring it up with live server. And you can see it works.
All right, we're going to start right away. So
I mean, that is one way that you can do it. It really doesn't take much. And I could do the same type of thing if I wanted to with a with a .mp3 file, for example. Now, you may or may not have noticed, but when I did this, it opened it up in the same window. So I could add a target equal blank in there if I wanted to. But that was just to show you how easy that is. Now, that's not typically what you want to do. I think you'd agree with that. All right. But, and I'm going to show you this, it's probably a little farther, up a little farther in the chapter. But I'm going to go to YouTube again. I won't grab mine. I'll just grab something that's out here. Let's see. All right. I like this guy. He teaches people who are over 40 to play guitar, so that's why I like him. I don't know if you saw Stephen Colbert yesterday, the guy who played in Blue's Clues, the original guy. He came on there. That's him now. He's got less hair than I do. So there's hope for me yet, I guess. So I'm going to come here.
You have to put your health and wellness first, or you can't do anything
care about
else.
Any of this
I
stuff.
lost 91
pounds.
I'm living proof that WW works. You're going.
Okay, that's Kevin. But I'm going to come down here, and where is it? See where it says share? I'm going to click on share, and then I'm going to click on embed. Okay? Then I'm going to grab everything that's in that embed, all of it, the entire iframe. I'm going to copy it to the clipboard, and I'm going to come back here, to the document that I was just at. I'm going to remove this stupid thing that was here, and I'm going to put that in, just exactly as it is. Save it. Go back again to here. There it is. That's all there is to embedding a YouTube video. All right. Now, when you do this, it brings it in as an iframe, and it has a certain set size. Now, you'll notice that the ability to make it full screen has been set to true here. You can set it to false if you want to do that. All right. You can also set this size up too. So if I didn't like it the size that it's at, I'm sure it's in here someplace. But if you look in here, the allow full screen, you can see that's in there. And there's the height. So I'm going to make it half of what it was. So I'm going to make it 280, not 2800, no, by, let's just say 158. I'm not going to save, but again, you saw the size right there. All right, in fact, I'll open it up in a new window. save, and open it with live server, and it's half that size. So that's really, like I said, all there is to it. All right. Jump back into the book here. So they show you a way that you can bring stuff in, how to add audio and video. That's kind of what I just went over. Now, if you want to go nuts with this stuff, there are different tags, etc., that you can put in there. What's the advantage of doing that? You're making it easier, again, for people, for accessibility reasons, etc., and it's your file is much more likely to validate if you use the right tags with them. I'm just down and dirty showing you how you can throw some stuff in there if you want to. All right. There's an embed element, and it says when you use the embed element, you code all the parameters as attributes, not as params. So there's two different ways that you can code stuff in. And you'll see them both because there's ways that you could only use up until a few years ago, and then there's the newer ways. So they both are still supported, and typically if there's a way to do something, there's at least one other way of doing it. Hopefully what I just said made at least a little bit of sense. So these are the different things that you can use, all right, when you start setting all this stuff up. So notice they've got for video and for audio, these are the things that you can use. Just to quickly go through them. Source, you know what source is? It's like it was for an image. It's where the thing is. Poster is kind of cool because when your video is loading, a lot of times, like when you go to the movies and they got a poster for the movie, they make those posters available so you can have that if it takes a while to load. Some people, what they've done too, is they put a poster in there for their podcasts, and they got a picture of the person doing the podcast so you can see what they look like. All right. Preload, as it says, it tells the browser whether to preload any data. The default is none. I've never used preload. Autoplay, as it says, basically says as soon as the page starts up, start playing it. Loop used to have a thing in there that we used to have students do from an older version of this book. That remember when Armstrong got on the moon and he said, this is one small step for man, one giant step for mankind. Well, that was pretty short. So you'd loop it so it would keep saying it and playing it over and over again, etc. You can have it come up muted. This is an important one, the controls, because with some of them, if you don't put in controls, they don't have them. So if you don't add controls onto a page and you tell it to play, if somebody doesn't want it, they can't turn it off. All right, so it's important to add that. And again, I already showed you the width and the height. All right, and the chapter ends with a web page that's got audio and video on it. Now, I didn't mean to shortchange that because that only took probably about 10 minutes or so. But like I said, I think I gave it its due diligence, to be honest with you. So when you come in here on Monday, we have now gone through the first 14. We will go through 15. We're going to go through these quickly. They won't take as long as it did today. Again, no tests, no homeworks from 15, 16, 17, and 18. Even if they're shown on your thing, no. All right? So we will talk about fonts and printing, a little bit about transforms, transitions, animations, and filters, and then I'll go through about a half an hour maybe at most on each of these. And actually, when we first got this book, when I came in here this past summer and was creating I guess it was last summer, the one before, because we've been using this for 2 years now, the first two chapters that I did were 17 and 18. To me, those should have been the first chapters in the book. How to design a website and how to deploy it. All right. But one of the things I want to show you, and I got to go back and look at some of my old videos on that. So yeah, I actually use my own stuff. On Monday is I'm going to see if we can take one of the sites that we've created. It doesn't matter which one, and we'll push it up to GitHub pages. So it'll be out there on the internet. So if you want to take one that you've done and be able to show it to other people, you'll be able to do that. It's not hard. It's just there's 4 or 5 steps, and I don't remember the right order. All right. So after Monday, then we'll be finished with the book. Like I said, on Tuesday, I will give you some kind of pretest, which I will probably write Monday night. So, and then Wednesday, you will take the test. As always, you'll have the entire period to work on it. The test will be on any of the material from chapters 1 through 9 is fair game. All right. Thursday, we will start on Bootstrap. If you want to get a little preview of what that is, just go out to getbootstrap.com. All right. Now, the thing about this, too, is someplace up here, at least they've had it, unless they moved it, they had a versioning thing. And it's in the version 5 now. I'm not sure if I'm going to show you version 5 or version 4. Why? Because I don't know version 5. And I know version 4. So we may go over that. And if we do, I'll tell you the differences between 5 and 4. All right. But I think I showed you this before, but I'm going to end it with this. So I'm going to grab this. So all I did was from getbootstrap.com, I'm clicking the Getting Started button. I'm going down. They've actually got a template here that you can use to add everything. So I'm going to quickly add this template right here. And literally it is 11:24. I'm going to be done by about 11:27. So somebody, if you could, time me. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do a new page. And file, save as. And I'm going to save this new page as bootstrap.html. All right. And I'm going to paste that in. All right, won't look very good. It's just going to literally have a thing that says like "Hello World" on it. That's it. And granted, that is much, but I want to just very quickly show you about 3 or 4 things. And like I said, I promise then we're done. All right, so I'm going to go back into Get Bootstrap, and I'm going to go under Components, and I'm going to go. We'll go first to Navbar, and I'm going to grab a Navbar. So just going to grab this one. So I'm going to grab all of this, copy it to the clipboard, come back into here. I'm going to remove from my body the hello world. Don't need it. And I'm going to replace it. Come on, get out of there. Dang it. With this. Now all I've done is just some copy and paste. Again, you can see now I've got a navigation bar. If I wanted that to be dark instead of light, it's very simple to change because when I first set it up here, it says navbar light, BG light. If I just change this to dark, come on, my goodness, to dark, and I change this to dark, and save it, and go back and look at it again, now you can see what happened. All right, so again, other than typing in dark twice, I put in nothing. So I'm going to come back to this again. And not there. Here. And I'm going to go back to Get Bootstrap. I'm going to show you 2 more things, and I'm finished. First is I'm going to go down, and I'm going to find let's see, components. Thought it was under components, but I don't see it there. Content? No. Getting started. There we go. Forms. All right, I'm going to go and click on Forms. I'll go to the overview, and I'm going to grab not a super sophisticated form, but a form with a little bit of stuff on it. So let's see. Oh, they changed this around. This is different from 5 than it was previously. All right, I'll just keep this simple one right here. All right, grab that. I have to just click the copy. Come over to here. After my nav, type that in, save, go back again, and doesn't look like much, granted, but you can see I've got that in there, and it is a password because it's not showing. All right, and finally, if I wanted to put buttons in, some people get really turned on from this for whatever reason, but if I go down to, it's probably under Components, Buttons, notice I get all these colors. So I'm literally just going to grab this. It's going to make a bunch of buttons that are different colors. All right, and granted, it's not much to show you, but it is something. So I'm going to paste that in, save it, and look at it one more time. And there it is. Now the button in here, you can change it with CSS, but by default, it's the size of the text that goes in it. All right, but you can set it to CSS. Plus, you can make a hyperlink into a button. How do you do that? Just to show you, I'm ending with this. I guess they're doing it here. They're just not putting any CSS in there. You can say class equal button. All of these. So what Bootstrap is, more than anything else, is it's just adding tons of classes. All right. That's why you had to learn the CSS. And I'm not sure how this will look, but notice, you see how it automatically gave you, James, it gave you your slick nav automatically. You didn't have to add anything to do that. All right, and you might look at that, well, doesn't look very good, but it automatically scales. So that's what we're going to be talking about starting next Thursday, probably. All right, Friday will probably be a lab, and then we'll talk about it some more the following week, and we'll have that last test, and then we're going into JavaScript. All right, unless there's questions, I'm finished.